Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, the radio show coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs and other items of interest to help you enjoy the good life here in Pinellas County. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Homebuyers Program, Your Key to Homeownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of homeownership a reality. I'm Jane Merlin, alongside Frank Bowman, your host for today's show. Frank, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself, Jane?
I'm doing awesome, and I got to say, it just feels like this past year we went right from winter right into the middle of summer.
And I think we're all hopeful that moving into September here that summer will soon give us a break, although that may occur in late October or something. But, Jane, that's really an appropriate segue for today's topic.
Kind of why I planned it that way.
I see. Wow. I'm impressed. Anyway, we have a very interesting program today as we'll be discussing tips on how to save money on your power bills. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll be talking with representatives from Progress Energy Florida. Joe Triolo, who's the program manager for energy efficiency programs, and Joseph Peterzak, who's the senior program manager for the SunSense solar programs. Make sure you have a pen and paper ready to jot down some important information. However, before we get into today's topic, we want to provide you with a message from our sponsor, the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, or the HFA as we call them. Jane?
Thank you, Frank. Well, the HFA is offering its First-Time Homebuyers Program for individuals in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its Home Key mortgage, which is a 30-year fixed rate. And if you need a little help with the down payment and closing costs, they can help you with that also with the Home Key Second Mortgage. To get your key to homeownership, call 727-464-8210 or visit the website at pinellascounty.org/community/HFA. And we'd also like to remind you about the Proud Ground Pinellas program, which is Pinellas County's newest housing initiative for veterans. Quality homes at great prices that are move-in ready. To reach us for more information or comments about the show, you can also call us at that same number, 464-8210, or email us at housingfinanceauthority@pinellascounty.org. And remember, you can also watch us on YouTube. And Frank, that Proud Ground Pinellas program is really going very well. We're having a lot of great response and putting some very deserving veterans in wonderful homes.
Yes, and it's a terrific idea we have a limited resource in these homes that we were purchased under the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, and they've all been totally remodeled and sometimes totally reinvented. They're beautifully remodeled, and they are set aside to provide housing for our veterans, and I think that's a wonderful idea. I mean, it's something that the county is doing that I think is very, very worthwhile. Well, today our guests are going to give us some very helpful information and tips on how to save money on our monthly electric bills and to discuss opportunities to make some significant energy reductions by using solar technologies. Joining us from Progress Energy are Joe Triolo, Program Manager for 2 energy efficiency programs, the Home Advantage Program for new construction and the Home Energy Improvement Program, which applies to existing homes. Also joining us is Joseph Peterzak. He's the Senior Program Manager for the SunSense solar programs, which offers programs for commercial and residential customers. Welcome to There's No Place Like Home. Joe, Joseph.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Nice to have you guys. You've been here before, and we had great response to the information you all provided. So we think this is a very important topic, and we're very happy to have you back here today. Joe, it seems that we went from fall to summer pretty quickly this year, just like last year, come to think of it. And there are a lot of people struggling on how to keep cool and pay their power bills. One of the quick and easy ways we can all save is to participate in your Lower My Bill Toolkit program. Can you give us an overview of that helpful service?
Sure, Frank. On progress-energy.com, you can go and click on the For Your Home tab, and on the right-hand side, I believe it is, you will see a Save Energy, and you click on that, and it'll take you to different choices of where you can go. One of them is a tool calculator, as you spoke of, and you can go into that calculator, and there are different options for different appliances in your home, and you can go into it, and it's got little drop-down boxes. Click in what you have as far as appliances, air conditioning, water heaters, refrigerators, TVs. It gives you many options to choose from, and it'll actually show you what your daily and monthly usage is on those appliances, as well as talking about your carbon footprint and what effect it makes on that.
All right, and I understand it's 6 easy steps in getting this done. What would those be?
Well, the six steps are pretty basic. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that people can save money in their homes. There are different programs that we offer for existing homes, as you had mentioned earlier. Those methods are duct test and repair. Duct systems are normally up in people's attics, and as you all know, in the summertime, as you said earlier, it's very hot right now, and those attics are very hot. So if you have leaks in your ducts, you're basically cooling your attic off. So you want to seal those up. So we have a program that offers test, where we have a group of contractors who are all licensed, and they go out there and will test your ducts, tell you where the leaks are, and we will offer half the it's a $60 charge for the test, and we pay for half of that, and we will pay up to $150 for fixing those leaks. And what that does is it makes your HVAC system much more effective and work much better to bring cool air into the living space and not into the attic. We also have programs for HVAC systems. If you're upgrading from a heat pump to another heat pump, or from a straight cool, which is a terminology in the HVAC system, to a heat pump, we have incentives for window tint for new windows, reflective roofs. So there's a lot of different ways that we have that you can save money in your home, existing homes, and not all of them are costly. Some of them are inexpensive. We have one that is a do-it-yourself, which is the window tint, and it's amazing. It always surprised me when I first got involved with the window tinting, what a difference that makes on your windows. The window tint incentive that we offer is for the it's for the south, east, and west windows of your home, because those are the windows that get most of the sun. And if you put the tint on there, it really cuts it down coming in. Other ways you can save energy without getting incentives are curtains or blinds, because what that does is that reflects the sun out. So there are a lot of simple ways you can do it if you ask.
Very, very good. And you mentioned new systems and things like that. Progress Energy provides some rebates for some of those?
Yes, we offer up to $350 for new HVAC systems that are more efficient. The building codes just changed recently, and as I mentioned earlier, there are some changes to our programs. The programs that we offer are basically the building code plus. It's a little bit more than what the building code is. So what we offer are incentives for those, and 2 of the programs we had have now become codes, so we're going to be dropping 2 of those programs. But we still have a multitude of programs we offer, and a very good energy efficiency programs that offer savings for the customer.
Excellent.
You know, Joe, I was looking at the website before coming over this morning to do the show, and I had noticed something on those 6 steps tabs that you have, which were very interesting, by the way. But there was something that caught my eye, and it was called Equalize My Monthly Bills. Tell us a little bit more about how that works.
Equalizing your monthly bills is a way on the site that it will lead you, step by step on how you can lower your bills, basically, and how you can get them down manageably. Different things like lowering your thermostat. A lot of people will put their thermostat down to 62, 63 degrees. We recommend in the summertime you're keeping it at 72, I believe, or 78 it is, 78. In the wintertime, we recommend 68. There are different things like that you can equalize your bill. Once again, windows, covering them up, shrubberies around the house. A lot of people don't realize that planting trees and plants in front of your windows provides shade and keeps the sun off it. So there's a lot of different ways you can equalize your bill and get it down to a manageable level.
Are there any programs for improved insulation?
Yes. We offer programs for taking your insulation up to what they call R30, and R30 is the insulation value. We also have a program for R19. And what you do is you would contact Progress Energy. Now, it is important to know that you need to first get an audit. And what an audit is either doing it over the phone, over the web, or scheduling an appointment from an inspector, advisor, who would come out and give you recommendations of what you need to do to upgrade your home for efficiencies. It is important to know that you have to have that audit before you do the measure. A lot of people will go get the measure done and then they try to get the audit later, but you have to do the audit first. So it is important to schedule that. It's very easy. You can do it online, or you can call the number, which I'll give you later, and get that audit scheduled so you can get your efficiencies going.
And Frank, didn't you do some insulation in your home and found that it made a significant difference?
I did. I put in I've been in my home for 35 years, and long time ago I had blown-in insulation, and over that period of time it had just compressed and essentially was no longer functioning. So had that old insulation removed, and actually I removed it, and put in new, I put in R19 in between the rafters, and then I went back on top of that and rolled R19 the opposite direction, so I have in excess of the R30. So that insulation is maintaining the coolness in the house and keeping the hot air from coming down out of the attic. So insulation is a tremendous benefit, both in older homes for retrofitting, and obviously when you're building new homes now, that the energy requirements are in place there. Give us some information on where people can either contact Progress Energy or go to a website.
Well, the website is progress-energy.com, and you can go there, and once again, you would click the On Your Home tab, and it will take you to a lot of different choices, different things you can do and places you can go. You can also call the 1-800 number, which is 1-888-302-8348, and you can talk to an energy advisor, and you can either do the audit over the phone or schedule for an advisor to come to your house. Having an advisor come to your house is a great advantage, because a lot of times over the phone the customer may be giving you information that they don't know a whole lot about what they actually have, and they may miss things. The energy advisors are trained to go to the home and observe all the different aspects of energy, and they can sometimes point out some very simple, quick, and inexpensive things the homeowner can do to save energy. So it's very beneficial to have the energy advisor out there.
I think it's important to remind people, too, that some of the things that we're talking about are very simple things that actually don't cost money. You mentioned earlier closing the curtains, drawing the blinds when it's really hot out, if the sun is really shining in brightly. Those little things do eventually add up to some pretty big savings in the long run, don't they?
Absolutely. Keeping the doors shut. A lot of times, and I know I've seen my grandson many a time stand there with the door open talking to his friends, and that cold air is rushing out of the house, and that's just that much more. And it's something you really don't think about until the end of the month when you get your bill and realize that you're spending a little more than you did.
That bill is the constant reminder of how much energy we actually use.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting. It's very rewarding, too, to go into a home and do an energy check and give somebody some very simple, basic things they can do. And we've actually had many people call and say, wow, I had no idea how easy it was and the savings I made. My next bill was a lot noticeably lower. And they're very happy and very glad that we came in there and gave them those tips.
Now, those inspections are provided at no cost, or is there a fee?
No, there's no fee for the inspection. We come out, there's no charge. We'll just come out and look at all the different systems in your home and give you some simple. And, if we see that you've got a HVAC system that's old and looks like it's on its last legs, so to speak, we'll tell you what we have. A lot of times people, with the economy the way it is right now, they might not necessarily be able to spend the money for some of the bigger items. But once again, that's the advantage of having the advisor out there, is because they can get a feel for what the customer is looking to do and give them some ideas that may fit into their budget to be practical for them to save money.
And on some of those more longer-term investments, you all may have some rebate or incentive programs available that could kind of help with that, correct?
Sure, just like with the windows. We offer up to $250 rebate for people that put in energy-efficient windows. And once again, windows are, most people have anywhere from 15 to 18 windows at their home, and that's a lot of square footage. And if you don't have efficient windows, that's, once again, air leaking right out of the house. So things that you can do by replacing windows or upgrading them to a more efficient one are ways that you can save money.
Now, Joe, let's bring you in. You've been awfully quiet over there, but I know that you are involved in some really, really exciting programs, and it's coming from one of the greatest resources that we have here in Pinellas County, and that's the sun. And you are working on a solar program. It's the SunSense Solar Program. Tell us a little bit about that. I understand it's for not only residential, but you've got some commercial applications and schools. What do you got going on over there?
Well, at Progress Energy, we're helping our customers capture the power of the sun through a array of solar programs that include incentives for solar electric PV systems for residential and commercial customers, solar water heating with energy management, solar water heating for low-income customers, and solar for schools.
And what do you mean by PV?
PV is solar electric, or photovoltaics is the actual technical term for solar energy. And it's a way of harnessing the sun's energy and taking the sunlight and turning it into electrons that can actually power a customer's home.
That's excellent, and this has been around a long time, but it's actually becoming practical for usage nowadays. What are some of the changes in the technology that are making it more usable?
Well, the panels themselves are becoming more cost-effective. We've seen a big decrease in the cost of solar panels over the year, and Progress Energy is helping by providing incentives that makes it more cost-effective. So a customer can qualify for up to, a residential and commercial customers can qualify for incentives of up to $2 per watt or $2,000 per kilowatt of solar electric panels that they put in their home or business.
And the power that's generated is, of course, used in the building, but don't you also have a program where you accept some of that excess power back into your grid and pay for that?
We do. It's called net metering. So if a customer is producing more electricity than what they're consuming in their house, those electrons will actually flow back onto the grid. And Progress Energy puts a special meter in, it's called a bidirectional meter, that measures that energy in both directions. So a customer can produce electricity during the day and actually use some of that electricity overnight by using the Progress Energy grid as a storage battery.
Mm-hmm.
So you're generating all this power during a bright, sunshiny day, but on a cloudy day, there's got to be some mechanism where some of that energy is being stored, correct?
Correct. I mean, that's the long-term goal with alternative energy is energy storage. Today, when you have a photovoltaic or solar electric system on your house, it's virtually seamless. You don't know whether electricity is coming from the PV panels or from the grid. So if it is a cloudy day out, you're still going to have electricity either way.
And I'm assuming that over the course of a year, as you produce and consume electricity, you're actually able to provide enough energy back to the grid that your bill is balanced out. What you pay for electricity and what you sell electricity is almost a zero balance.
Yeah, it's really dependent on the size of the solar electric system that you put on your house. Solar electric systems are rated in kW, and it's kind of like horsepower in a car engine. The more kW, the more electricity that you're producing. Our average customer uses about 1,200 kilowatt hours per month. So to offset 1,200 kilowatt hours would take approximately a 10 kW system with a southern orientation and very little shading to produce that much electricity. And at current cost, a 10 kW system may cost upwards of $50,000. So Progress Energy's incentive is really to help overcome those barriers. So we provide an incentive up for the first 10 kW, first 10 kilowatts of PV panels that you put on your home, and that could equate up to a $20,000 incentive towards that $50,000 system. There's also the potential for a federal tax incentive, which would pay another third of that system cost. So at the end of the day, that $50,000 system may only cost a customer $20,000, And it would probably be able to recoup that money in, say, 5 to 10 years, depending on the system performance and the shading aspects of that house.
That's pretty substantial savings and a great incentive for people. Are you finding that you're getting a lot more customers turning to these kinds of systems? How it seems, I mean, I feel like solar panels are getting a little more popular. I think I feel like I'm seeing them a little more on rooftops.
They are becoming more common. As I mentioned earlier, the price has come down substantially, down 75% in the last 4 or 5 years. But you still have the installation cost, and it's not something that a regular homeowner is going to tackle. You want a professional contractor to install it because you have to mount it on your roof, and then you have to make the electrical connections. So you really want a professional that knows what they're doing. Additionally, you have to have a house that's orientated in a southern exposure, south exposure, with minimal shading. So it is becoming more popular. Our SunSense programs are very popular with our customers, and it's proven to be a very successful program over the last year and a half since we started it.
I know you've got a program for water heaters, which might be kind of a nice way for people to kind of start or to enter into this world of solar. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Solar water heating is actually even more cost effective than solar electric, especially for a larger family. With solar water heating, the more hot water that you use, the bigger your saving potentials. And they're typically not as expensive. So a solar water heater may cost somewhere between $5,000 to $7,000 to install. And Progress Energy has a program where when you install that solar water heater in conjunction with our Energy Y system, we'll pay the customer a $550 credit on their electric bill, plus an ongoing credit of up to $60 per year for the Energy Ys. So it's, for a family of 4, they could potentially save between $200 and $400 per year, depending on how much hot water they use.
That's excellent. And Jane, you know that the Housing Finance Authority does a lot of work with our local Habitat for Humanity organization, and they're building new houses. And one of the projects is up in Clearwater, a project called Stevens Creek. And they were thrilled to report to me that you folks provided several solar water heating panels for those houses.
Yes, yeah. Actually, Habitat for Humanity just commissioned their 250th home here in Pinellas County, and they are an excellent partner. The very first thing we do is we go after that low-hanging fruit, which is energy efficiency. So we make sure we put in that good insulation, a high SEER heat pump. But in addition to that, on these homes, we're putting in a solar water heater so that the life cycle cost of that house is lower. So everyone's going to have a utility bill, but you want it to be as low as possible. And by bringing all those components together, those customers are really going to benefit for the lifetime of that house.
And you mentioned that a lot of these systems are dependent upon improving the energy efficiency of the home. I do know from the developer working with the alternative energy panels that they would not work if the home itself didn't have all the elements that Joe number 1 talked about. It's got to have good windows and good insulation and efficient appliances so that your consumption would be lower. Then you can power those with the PV panels. And it makes sense if you've got good energy efficiency and good insulation in the home. Does this make it more appropriate or easier, should I say, for new construction versus retrofitting?
New construction is great because you're getting in there and you're putting the system on that new roof, so you don't have to worry about removing solar electric panels or solar water heating to re-roof your home. And typically those panels will last 20 to 25 years. So just about the life of a shingle roof. So it's great to put it on there while you're building the home. In addition, yes, you do want to do those things at the very beginning, because by making the home more efficient first, you're taking that energy and you're directing it towards the best possible load. The greenest kilowatt hour is the one that you never use. So you want to make that energy that you're producing with the sun as efficient as possible.
And we were talking earlier, Joe, about the fact that you're doing some really exciting things with the schools.
Yes. We've actually been working with the schools since 2003, where we've been partnering with schools and putting solar electric systems on them. To date, Progress Energy has installed PV systems at 28 schools throughout our service territory. And I believe between Pinellas and Pasco County, we have 12 schools that we've done since 2003. Through this new pilot program, the SunSense program, we're actually increasing the schools to do 10 schools per year plus one large university. And it's really a special program because you're taking the PV systems and you're bringing it to the school where children can see it. They have this tangible project that they can actually go outside and see. They can actually go online and monitor the energy production coming from these PV systems. And there's mathematical computations and scientific experiments that they can do. They can compare their school here in St. Petersburg to another school up in Apalachicola and see how the weather is affecting the PV production. And in addition to that, through this program, the new SunSense pilot program, we're installing these PV systems at emergency shelters. And the systems are coming with a battery backup component so that in event of a catastrophic grid failure after a hurricane, the communities can go to these emergency shelters, and it will provide a number of classrooms with emergency lighting and refrigeration for, say, 24 to 48 hours after the electricity is off.
That is outstanding.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, the way for folks to get more information on the solar panel programs is what?
You want to go to progress-energy.com/SunSense, and that will take you to the SunSense website that details all these programs. One thing I do want to mention is that for our PV incentive program, that pilot encompasses a annual reservation process, which will be coming up October 1st of this year, where you can secure funding for PV systems for 2013.
So if folks are interested, they should get online and put their name on a list so that they are prepared to do this in the coming year.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of steps that we want customers to take before that October 1st date, and that is we'd like them to go out and get several quotes. We recommend a minimum of 3 quotes. The more you shop around, the better price you're going to get. And there's a couple of we require on that October 1st date that you have really secured what system you wanted to purchase. So you have a quote. The contractor should also do a solar site assessment where they use a special tool called a Solarmetric Sun-Eye or a Solar Pathfinder, and it's able to give the customer an estimate of how many kilowatt hours that system will produce on their roof at that location, so that customers, before they ever purchase a system, have an idea or at least an estimate on what to expect as far as electricity production.
Well, that's a tremendous program, and we hope everybody takes advantage of these. Jane, we are out of time already. These topics we could talk far longer than we have available here on our radio show, but we'd like to thank our guests from Progress Energy, Joe Triolo and Joe Pietrzak. You've been very, very informative today, and I hope our listeners enjoyed it. We'd also like to thank Pinellas County Communications Department for helping us produce this show, and of course our friends at WRXB 1590 AM. Be sure to join us next month, and please contact us if you'd like more information about this show or would like to provide us with some feedback. I'm Frank Bowman.
And I'm Jane Merlin.
Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there's no place like home.